Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? It's your boy. It's your homie. Hey, I'm one of them. Yeah. It's Poetic, Lamar. Yo, man. Today I'm back, and I'm doing another reaction. Um, More so of a deep dive. But before I get to what that's going to be, um, because this is very how do I put this? This relates to the song that I'm doing a deep dive on. So I want to make sure that um, I mentioned it. I wasn't gonna do it, but I believe that it should be mentioned. Marshawn Kneeland um, was a person. He was a brother. He was a son. Um, he was a friend, and he was more than just a football player. Um, the young man was only 24 years old. He literally just had, like, to me, like a highlight moment in his NFL career um, this past weekend. And so I say all that to say, um, you see everybody and coming out and speaking about his life and the type of person that he was, and the only thing that you can think is that, man, it really be um your strong friends, right? It really be the ones that smile the most that are suffering the most inside, right? And so I say all that to say, um, check on your strong friends too. You know what I'm saying? And like, you never really know what someone is going through. Um, and so, like, sometimes it's just good to know that somebody cares. Sometimes that's enough, and then sometimes you need more immediate action. And there were so many different reports coming out initially, and earlier, um, when it was first announced, and police this, and it could possibly be this or whatever, and you just don't know. And so, like, I say that to say a person's life was lost, regardless of how it led to that. They're no longer here, and I feel like that's a sentiment that we need to have, and the approach that we need to take to the situation, right? Because this is somebody loved him. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, he's somebody's family, and we should give that family the grace and the understanding, not to say things or cast disparaging things about him, or speculation about him, especially in a negative light, right? Um, with all that being said, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit notification bell button to be notified for whenever I release new content, because you don't want to miss it. And yeah, so that was Marshawn Kneeland. Now what we're doing today is something a little different. Something I wanted to start doing. It's just like a deeper dive on something like maybe more my more popular videos and more highly requested videos. Just giving a more analytical breakdown, per se, a more in depth conversation, right? And so the one we're starting this off with is probably by far, um, to me, what I would say is just a song that I can identify with, I um full heartedly, right? And that is the Red Clay Strays Drowning. And you guys, if you haven't seen that reaction to the video, be sure to go check it out. But this song, to me, just, it emulates the feeling that so many of us have, that we really can't um put into words. And I really just feel like that's what this song did for us, right? It really spoke to me personally, just because I battled with depression. I know people that battles with depression, and my best friend committed suicide. I had another family member that committed suicide before taking the lives of other people. And so, like, it's one of those things that you really um you don't really understand, or you don't really become cognitive of until like you experience it yourself or someone that you love experience it, right? And so it's like it's just one of those things like you really don't understand. Like people talk about depression, oh, it's just depression, everybody's depressed. Like, no, there's levels to this shit. Like real talk, there's levels, and there's things that so many people don't speak on, that should be spoken on, and I feel like that's what kind of like where mine's really like attributed to, and how things got so bad with me, especially when I was at the lowest point of my life, was just the fact that there were so many things that I went through, or so many things that I experienced that I never addressed, or that I never spoke on, or that I never healed from, that needed to take place. And like that's what really laid. It's just a snowball effect, man. You keep in so much, you keep in so much, and that snowball just continues to get bigger and bigger as things go downhill. And before you know it, you're looking at this mountain, and you're like, I can't take this anymore, man. And like things get heavy, and when those things get heavy, and one of the last things, or one of the worst things that you could feel is alone. When things are heavy and you feel alone, that is like one of the worst places to be in, because in that moment, or in those moments, or in that time, it doesn't seem like there's any way out, if that makes sense, you know? And it's just one of those things that you try to, you take a step back, you try to, gather yourself, and but that's just you being, more aware, and that's not always a situation. So I saw that to say it's one of those things that, w- we all suffer, or we all have had or dealt with at some point in our life, and some have been worse than others. And I say that to say I'm praying for you, I love you, and I wish you nothing but the best on this journey called life. And now let's get into the lyrics. All right, we're gonna start with verse one, man. Like right off the rip, he starts off the song with like something that just like literally, I think when I was watching it, I was like, ain't no way you're about to start the song off like this. Like you're not about to start the song off and put me in my feelings. But I feel like that's immediately what happened. This life feels like a battle, one that I can't win. It's like I'm swimming against the current, like I'm running against the wind. And if you really start to look at that, at the end of the day, life life has many battles. The goal is to win the war, right? And some of us lose a battle and we feel like we've lost that war. And that's what I feel like this is like really just encompassing. Like, man, you know what? There's so many things going on in my life. And this battle that I just lost feels so fresh that I don't feel like I can win this war, because I was beat up so bad during this last battle. What's going on in my life feels so heavy on me. It impacts me so much. I feel like there's no way for me to climb out of this. That you just feel like the war is over, even though that was just a battle. But I've been there and I get it. I understand. Trust me. I'm not one to sit up here and say that I haven't been in your shoes, because I would be lying. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not something that I'm gonna sit up here and say, or sit up here and do. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't be being truthful, not to you, not to myself. And that's just one of those things that where it's like when the weight of the world feel like it's on you, and you just trying to move forward, you trying to move forward, you trying to move forward, and it's like everything in the world is like going against you. You're trying to move forward, something that's pushing you back, and it's just like, can I just get a one freaking win, bro? One small win is all I want. That's all I want. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking to be a millionaire tomorrow. I'm not asking to create some miracle cure. That's not what I want. I want to make it through today. That's what I want to do. I want to make it through the day, and I feel like that's not gonna happen. I feel like it's not gonna happen, right? And like those are the moments where we really, really, really uh do where me personally, I have to like do my best to try to take a step back. I have to like breathe. I have to like Like literally, I found myself having like an anxiety attack the other day. Like, and it was like, bro, life has been lifing for you. You got so much going on, so many things just moving like this, and you've reached your max. You've taken all that you could take. You've loaded in all the information that you can load in. At this point, you have to breathe, calm yourself, take a step back, and decompress. Because it was so much. I was like, I felt like I was gonna break. I really felt like I was going to break, bro. And I'm just, I'm just, I'm happy that I was able to understand what was happening in that moment. Because there's been situations like that to where um it doesn't always end in a situation of me decompressing. It could lead to me lashing out. It could lead to violence. It could lead to something harmful being done, or drug abuse or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like just to quiet that storm or to make things go silent, and sometimes that's what things tend to lead to. And it's sad, but it happens. It's the reality. Um It's like I'm going overboard with the anchor around my waist. With the anchor around my waist. I lie awake at night with tears in my eyes. My heart beating out of my chest. There's a light at the end of this tunnel, my man. I'm calling for an SOS. I really feel like that last little stance is where I was at when I call her my grandmother. She's my great aunt. She was my godmother, like my grandmother, my great aunt. She's like really like a second mom to me. Like real talk. Like you'll see pictures of me all like I'm like growing up. There's a picture of me holding onto a dress. They say I always glow on her dress as a baby. Like it's one of those things like certain people. Some people are able to come in contact with certain people that have such a pivotal place or incremental place in certain people's lives, and that's what this person was for me. And I remember it like yesterday. She was asking me. She was a very religious person. She'd been asking me and asking me and asking me, baby, you need to go to church. Baby, you need to go to church. You need to go back to God. You need to go back to church. You need to go back to church. And I say, I ain't trying to go sit up in the church house. Church lasts for 3 hours. Look, if you ain't never been to a black churches last for 3 hours. Sometimes four, depending on where you at. Like literally church, cause they used to call it Sunday school. Sunday school will start at 8. You have that for an hour, and then you go to church and you'll have that for 2.5 hours, and then honestly depending on what type of events they had going, it'll be something else after church. They were like, it's just like, I love God, but that's a lot of church for you, boy. I was all churched out. I'm like, granny, I can't do it. I ain't trying to go sit in a church for that long. Like, I ain't trying to do it, especially now that I have the option. I ain't trying to do that. But then something happened. I forgot what happened or what led me to do it. I think somebody they asked me to go be in a play at church, and I said, "Okay, I'll do that." Right. At that time, I enjoyed acting. I enjoyed like just being like an artist. Like just I was into music really heavy at that time. Right. I was really like discovering myself as a person, as far as like the things that I enjoyed doing outside of like sports. Right. And one of the things it was I enjoyed acting. Like I enjoyed writing scripts. I will write scripts. I will write poetry. I enjoy writing. Like I just love that whole thing, right? I love that, right? And so when I got the opportunity, I was like, okay, this might be something that can bring me back to church. It'll make her happy, because I'll be back in church, and then also I'll be doing something that I enjoy as well. And I was on a Wednesday night. I remember. I'm telling you, I remember it like it happened yesterday. And okay, they wrap up practice. I'm leaving church. I'm on my way home, and I'm like just driving, and we it was church is like 5 minutes away from the house. Like it's nothing, right? And I'm driving back home, and we all my entire family live in the South, very country. We all pretty much the matriarchs of the family pretty much stay down one street. like we stay down one highway, like we all within a 1 mile radius is like bunched up. We're all bunched up right there, right? A bunch of land, we're all right there, one big family, right? And I'm driving on my way back home on that highway, and all I see is a bunch. I'm packed because she stayed with my great aunt Sugar at the time, and I'm driving back, and I see a bunch of cars in the driveway, and I see an ambulance, and you see the lights on and everything. I see a bunch of people outside. I'm driving. I literally pass up there. I pass up the driveway and I see that, and I stop in the middle of the road. I turn around and I drive back in, and all I see is people outside crying. And the first thing I think is that something has happened to either my auntie Shug or T Jeanette, right? Which is who I'm referencing, right? And I'll try to find a picture and put it up on this. So that you guys, I think I even have that picture. I'll try to find it to put it up. But it's one of those things where I was like, man, this makes me feel like I have no idea what to expect. Me as a teenager, I have this weight in my chest. I'm like, I have no idea what's happening. All I know is that it's nothing good, right? All I see is people crying, and I see I see my cousin Terry outside. They're all standing outside. My uncle's right there, and my cousins. And then I walk up and I walk in the house, and they said like, my auntie Letty, she said, baby, she gone. I say, there's no way. I said, there's no way. No way. We was just praying. We was just praying. She just gotta. I haven't thought about this in so long. We was just praying on the phone. I think like the day prior, she was just telling me she just got her house approved. She had been trying to get a house for her and her daughter to move in. Cause my niece was like just born, like man, I think, oh my god, like the year prior, and all I could think was, there's no way this is happening right now, right? There's no way. And sure enough, I walk in and I just sit there. There's no expression. There's I just felt nothingness because I didn't understand how God can take somebody that loves Him so much, that's so nice, that's just such a ball of life and just praise for everybody, and does everything that she can for other people. How can you, God, how can you take somebody like this? And I didn't understand that. I didn't understand for the life of me. The teenager, I couldn't understand that, And I'm was raised in the South from Southern Baptist home, and it was like, "Let God, let Your will be done." I heard it all the time, and I was like, "Whatever God got for you, can't nobody take away." And um, we was all born into this world. We all gotta leave someday. I've heard all this. I've heard all of that. That's all fine. That's good. Don't none of that matter right now, right? And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way um that she's not here anymore. And I'm just like, you really left me. You really left me. And I didn't understand. It took me, I mean, like years and years and years, probably really recent, like the last past year, when I started seeing a therapist and I was just talking about certain things, and it was just like it dawned on me like how much pain she was in. Like I would hear her crying out, you know, if I stayed over at T Sugar House in the middle of the night, you know, or just her singing hymns, just her being in pain, like just singing hymns, and I'm just like, man, she was in so much pain, and I feel so selfish looking back now, questioning God, like, why would you do this when she was in so much pain? You know? And I'm like, he gave her the peace that she needed. And it's just one of those things that I had stopped going to church. I had really stopped believing in God. Um, there were so many things that I had stopped doing. Like that was a major uh pivotal moment in my life, right? Especially regarding faith and religion, like all that completely shifted after she passed. Because I just didn't understand, right? And I had lost a lot. I've been to a lot of funerals, guys, unfortunately. But that one definitely hit me. That one hit me the hardest. Um, hit me the hardest, and it's just when you know someone and their spirit is they have such a beautiful spirit, such a beautiful spirit, and there you're like something happens to them. It's like there's no way that happened to that person, right? Like God, out of all people, you can let something happen to. There's no way that you're gonna do that to that person. No way. And and just didn't understand. But now my mindset has really shifted, and the growth that I've learned, over the years, and just from my experiences, is that I've learned not to question God, and I do my best not to question Him. And one of the things that I say is the old saying is that um, um, I may not understand, but still let Your will be done. You know what I'm saying? I seek not for my own understanding, right? Because so many things we try to understand, we try to, why did this happen? Why wouldn't they? All kind of things. We try to, because to us it doesn't, like there's no way that this adds up. There's no way that this makes sense to us, right? There's no way that it does. And we try to make sense of things that's not meant to make sense to us sometimes, right? And it just doesn't. Everything won't make sense to you, and that's life. That's the reality of the situation. That's the reality of the situation, and it's just one of those things that is, as I've grown and as I've gotten older, that my mindset has just really shifted, and I'm not as religious, but I am very heavy into faith. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I know that He exists. I know that I wouldn't be here without Him. I know that He protects me. I know that He watches over me, and I am more than grateful for Him. More than grateful. you know. And when there's things that's happening in my life like they are now, I try to give it over to God. I try not to stress about things. I try not to worry about certain things, even though I'm human and I could fall short. Right, we all do at times, but I try my best not to dwell on those things. Right, and I think the camera's about to die, so give me just a moment. Okay, yeah, and so I try not to just dwell on those things. And so that's just where it really gets me. But going to the chorus, somebody help me. Somebody help me. I'm drowning. I can't tread much longer. I'm fighting to keep my head above water. Throw me a line, show me a sign. everything will be all right because I feel like I'm drowning. Somebody help me out. Hmm. I feel like that's how my friend felt. My best friend, Gavin. We all have our own demons, and I'm not one here to judge you. I'm not. I'm not here to judge, right? Because we all have our own demons, we all have our own vices, and one of those things that I seek not from my own understanding. And so he did something that I totally do not agree with. Don't get me wrong. The action that he did, I don't agree with. But I loved him so much as a person that I'm like, I cannot stop being your friend. You understand what I'm saying? And we have people like that in our lives, like, man, like that's I condemn every bit of what was done or everything that this person does. That's bad. I condemn it. But they're still family to me. And I still love them, you know? And he was going through what he was going through. And I guess it got to be too much. And then I'm not gonna cry again. I'm not gonna cry again. Um it got to be too much and he committed suicide. He hung himself. And it's one of those things that I was like, I really needed to be a better friend. Cause maybe I could I'm like, maybe if he was around me more, we could have avoided all of this. Maybe if I answered that call. Right? We start to play all these different what if games and all these different things, and it's like, okay, you start to go down the hill, and I'm like, it took time and understanding, and I had to take. I can't control everything, right? Um, I can't control me being a better person, a better friend, um, but I can't control what someone else's does. I can't make them stop feeling the pain that they're feeling, but I can be there for them, right? We could be there for our family. We could be there for our friends, for our loved ones. We can be there for them, And I saw a lady coming on a video that she just lost her stepson, and I'm like, I'm praying for you. He just committed suicide. Like I'm praying for you, and cause you to not say goodbye just feels unnatural. But even if you did say goodbye, what would that change? Right? You would still feel that the same hurt, right? At least I know that I would. Even if I got to say goodbye to G, I'm like, I still would be upset that you know, you left, that you're not here. You don't get to see my daughters. You don't get to see my house, come over, doing the games. You don't get to shoot the brick. You know what I'm saying? None of that, and it's just like, man, I wish you could have called me type deal. Like I'm here. And I know you did it because you felt alone, because I've been there. And it's one of those things to where it's like, I just wish you would have called, bro. You know? I wish you would have told me. And let me sit up because I want to talk to you. I've seen some of the comments, man. And one thing I want to tell you, there was a guy that commented that, he has a family, he has kids, he has a wife, he's been married, and he just feels a certain way. And this this is probably more so to you. We don't always we don't always know how to express ourselves. But the most important thing to do is to try. We have to try to express ourselves to someone because keeping everything in is not helping us. It's not helping us. And your kids deserve to have you around. You deserve to be there for their graduations, their weddings, the birth of children, their kids. You deserve to be around for that. You deserve to embrace that and live within that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you deserve that. You deserve that. So don't feel like you don't, because you do. You deserve to be happy. Nobody in this world is meant to be alone. And if you do feel alone, just know, hit your boy up on the community page. We could go back and forth. We can talk, bro. Like, we could talk. Like, for real. Like, you don't have to feel alone at all. Cause the world is so big. The world is so big, guys. And I know it can feel lonely. I know. But you don't have to be alone. I think I'm gonna end it at this, because this is pretty long. I honestly thought that I was gonna be able to do the whole song. I have to get better at this. I apologize. Um, for some reason, I told the story of my grandmother passing. I don't know why, but I don't know. Cause I don't know. I don't know. You know? Yeah. Thank you guys for rocking with your boy. Hopefully you enjoy the commentary, and hopefully there's a part two if you guys like this, right? And kind of like see you later. Oh no, let's end it the same as we always do. Stay humble, stay blessed, stay safe, and if you don't do nothing else for the rest of 2025, listen to me. Just give me a moment. Listen, listen. Stay out the way, guys. Later. Cause you know life be life for everybody. You mean me? And the last thing you want to do is to not mind your own business. I'm just trying to tell you. Hey, don't get mad at the messenger, dog. I'm just trying to tell you. Yo, man. Later, bro. Oh my gosh.